is Joy News Prime.
Hello and welcome to Joy News Prime, the most comprehensive news bulletin on television in Ghana. Coming up, 2-hour downpour in Accra submerges several parts of the national capital in water, despite assurances from city authorities to act decisively to end the city's perennial flooding. Amidst the corruption scandal, there are high hopes for justice delivery as an ultra-modern complex housing about 40 courtrooms is commissioned in Accra. The NDC has rounded up its vetting of parliamentary candidates in the Greater Accra and the Volta regions. We'll tell you about the disqualifications in a bit.
And in business tonight, Trade Minister Ekosfield Gabra is asking Cabinet to consider introducing policies that would sanction businesses that import products that can be manufactured locally.
And still in the news, women leaders including former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings and the former President of Malawi, Joyce Banda, push for gender parity. They say there's still more work to be done. Also in this bulletin, there's sport, entertainment and our interactive segment. The bulletin is also available on ABN TV on the Sky Channel 235 across Europe. To stay with us. Let's start off with the details now. 102 minutes of rain caused flooding in various parts of Accra on Friday. That's in spite of assurances from the city authorities following the twin flood and fire disasters in Accra to take measures to prevent such disasters. Ivy Jenfi visited some communities in the national capital when the rain subsided and now reports.
It's been exactly 5 months since the fire and flood disaster here in Accra. It's rained for a few hours, and this is the situation we find here at Seko.
The construction area, the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, from the accounts of hawkers, was flooded. But at the time of the news team's visit, the waters had receded. The Odo drain overflowed and flooded the pedestrian shopping mall. Traders were seen scooping water out of their stalls. One of the traders who spoke to the news team blamed the construction of the overpass for the recent flooding.
It's not the market that causes the flood. It is when they started constructing the overpass that this place started flooding. They should have constructed the drains before the overpass, but they did not. After the AMA's demolition here, we thought we were flood-free, but we thought wrong. The whole market is flooded. We need the government to act on it as soon as possible.
The area around the Odona market was not spared by the 3-hour downpour. Houses close to the Odo River were submerged in water as residents stood helpless. Another area that flooded was Asylum Down. Residents there said they were not new to the floods and blamed it on the drainage system in the area.
This area is a kind of a situation which we've been facing most of the times when it's rain. What we experience here is that we've seen that the whole problem is from the way they design the drainage at the end of the Odo. That is what has caused us for getting this kind of problem here. And any time when it is rain, a lot of things we fall into a lot of disaster, but we don't have anybody to rescue us till the rain is over.
The last area the news team visited was Nima, where residents were busy depositing plastic waste generated by the drain's overflow back into it. A resident explained that was their only way of getting rid of it.
We normally do the general cleaning that we always do on every first Saturday. Yeah, so as you can see, the people clearing the boiler are the same people. Here, no boiler container comes here, and from here to the boiler is very far. If you allow the rain to stop before we do it, it will be very difficult for us to find somebody to carry the boiler to the boiler side. And here to the boiler, Zoom Lion and other people promise write our name with telephone number that they will bring us the, what do we call it, the boiler container, the one that has the tire, so that they will be coming here at the end of every week or every month and be collecting small money and be carrying the boiler. Up to now, nobody comes here. So sometimes when the rain fall like this and brought the baller out from the gutter into the street, it's very difficult for us to send the baller to the baller side. That is why when it rains like this, people come out and clear the baller back into the water so that the water can carry.
After suffering yet another flood damage to their property and livelihoods, residents of Odorna are still asking when will decisive action be taken to stop rainwaters from disrupting their lives. For Joy News, Ivy Jemfi, Accra.
Well, still on the floods, Derek echoes some reports on how some stores along the Graphic Road in Accra were affected.
The rains have subsided, but the effect still lingers on. If you look behind me, you realize that the whole place is flooded. This is one of many shops here in Accra. Bear in mind that on June 3, when the twin disasters came in, the whole place was flooded as well. The people who work here tell me they reported the case to the AMA, they came here, they did their checks, but up till now nothing has been done about it. And then it started raining again, and today business had to stall. Actually, they had to close business because nobody could come in, nobody could go out. And as I speak, you could realize that the water from the car that is just going by has splashed onto my feet. The whole place is flooded. If you look, you could see that there's one vehicle that is coming in that is also having a very difficult time. What it means is that the small cars cannot come in here. This is Accra's biggest drain. It's 24 feet deep, but 14 out of that 24 feet is filled with sand, silt, garbage, and people also defecate into this drain. Almost all the gutters in the city are connected to this drain, and the water has to go through this into the sea. The remaining 10 feet, obviously, isn't enough to ensure that water that passes through this drain goes smoothly into the sea. And that's the reason anytime it rains in Accra, the place is flooded. I've spoken to a number of shop owners who declined speaking on camera for fear of victimization. They tell me they have gutters, they have culverts in their various shops, but anytime it rains, because this is choked, it is difficult for the water to have a smooth passage out of their shops. From what I see, some form of dredging works have gone on, but it appears that that is not enough to alleviate the plight of the people who live in Accra. Some more works will have to be done to ensure that anytime it rains, no matter how long it rains, Accra is not flooded. From the Odor drain here in Accra, my name is Derek Ekosam for Joy News.
Well, that flood or that downpour seemed to have vindicated some of the key decisions that the Accra Metropolitan Assembly took in the wake of the June 3 flood and fire disasters in the national capital. At Aveno, where the AMA demolished structures supposed to have been constructed in waterways, residents say the move prevented flooding in the area today.
June 3 is a date too many Ghanaians are familiar with. It's a day that a lot of souls perished after flood and fire disaster here at the capital city, Accra. Now I'm here at Aveno after some heavy rains this morning, and just to find out the situation here at Aveno, very close to where the incident occurred at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle here in Accra.
Actually, it has rained for the past 6 hours, and the whole community was anticipating that there will be flooding or there will be a repetition of the May June 3rd disaster. But we will attribute this thing to the dredging of the drainage. Okay, the drainage. So the water was able to be pulled out of the community, so there wasn't any flooding in the community. The second aspect has to do with the secondary drainage that we have in the community. It has also really helped a lot. So even though it has rained heavily this time for the past 6 to 7 hours, there wasn't flooding in the community. So we'll just attribute it to the dredging of the drainage, which has really helped a lot.
Okay, so now you are saying for 6 hours we are safe, nothing has happened. What if it goes beyond that? What if we go to say 2 days of non-stop rain? Are we sure we are going to see the same thing happen?
For that one, I don't know for sure. But what I can say now is that because of the dredging, okay, normally when it rains continuously for 6 to 7 hours, the entire community, we just prepare ourselves that there is going to be flooding in the community. But as I said, it has rained for the past 6 to 7 hours. Well, if it rains for more than 2 days, definitely maybe we are going to experience that. But I believe because of the dredging, it has really helped the community.
So you are the assembly member for the area now. You've been sworn in. You are now at post working. Now I need to find out from you, what plans do you have to make sure that such things do not happen in this community?
The demolition of the unauthorized structures in the community, okay, at unauthorized places has really helped a lot. So what I believe we can do, that we must ensure that these unauthorized structures will not be reconstructed in the community. So I'm going to do my best that structures are not put on waterways. Okay, I'm going to ensure that it's not put on waterways, and that's the only way that we can ensure that there's not going to be a repetition of this. We are going to, as you know, we are also educating the people in the community not to dump their refuse into the drainage or into the drainage. So that's what I believe we can.
So you believe the decongestion exercise, the exercise embarked upon by the AMA was a very good thing. We still have a number of structures there. Are you calling for some more demolition exercises?
No, I believe, I speak for my electoral area. All the unauthorized structures in the community has been demolished, which has really helped. As I said, it has really helped a lot. So we are going to ensure that, as an assemblyman, I'm going to ensure that people don't put these unauthorized structures at the initial place that it was demolished.
That's what the flooding has done to the city. You're still here with me on Joy News Prime. I'll take a very quick break. I'll be right back. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. A new court complex has been commissioned in Accra. It is a very modern edifice which is expected to speed up the administration of justice in Ghana. The building, financed by the Social Security and National Insurance Trust as a corporate social responsibility project, contains about 40 courtrooms. Latif Idris joined President John Mahama and other dignitaries for a tour of the facility.
There are 8 levels in this building, including a basement and a service floor. There are 42 courtrooms with judges, chamber suites, 4 registries, and a clinic and facilities for banking. There is also 300-seat auditorium, a library, information center, and media briefing room. All the courtrooms are enabled for digital recording, including a dedicated video conferencing facility in some specialized courtrooms. The complex has extensive facilities for lawyers and their clients in a secure and segregated environment. The facility also has cell accommodation for 100 prisoners, together with a prison reception area and prison officers' office accommodation. The complex, which has a floor area of approximately 30,000 square meters with over 400 individual rooms. The efficient delivery of service of the court complex will be facilitated by modern ICT infrastructure. All the courtrooms are enabled for digital recording, including a dedicated video conferencing facility in some specialized courtrooms. The edifice also has uninterrupted power system and a high-capacity standby generator. The new court complex, the third of its kind on the African continent, has been commissioned by the President, John Dramani Mahama, and the Chief Justice. There is a ruling here that is of interest. It reads, the Constitution has its letter of the law. Equally, the Constitution has its spirit. It is the fountainhead for the authority which each of the 3 arms of government possesses and exercises. It is a source of strength. It is a source of power. Now, that power in the Constitution, according to the Chief Justice, has been dented by the recent scandal that has hit the judiciary. It is the hope of the Chief Justice and the President, John Dramani Mahama, that the commissioning of this new courthouse will mark a new phase from the new court complex here in Accra. This is Latif Idris reporting for Joy News.
Let's stay with the judiciary a little longer. Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood is asking the public to desist from bribing judicial staff to pervert the course of justice. Speaking at the commission of the ultra-modern court complex here in Accra, Mrs. Wood said honest public engagement can help root out the kind of corruption that was recently exposed by the investigative journalist Anas Arimiya.
Over the last couple of weeks, I have had the unpleasant duty of speaking to a subject that is hardly comforting to the ears of all true patriots. From documentaries shown to the public to commentary on the subject, a subject that has led a few people to ask me, how did we arrive here? The discussions have been endless, and understandably, the judgment of an angry nation unrelenting. And in the mood of the time, the good have been lumped together with the bad. We have been collectively condemned, with no one being spared. In my respectful view, on account of the critical role this branch of government, which is a key pillar to give good governance, is expected to play as watchdogs of law and order. It is true that over time, the warped conception of the role of a judge by a few among us has marred the beauty of what the judiciary stands for in this great nation. The deeds of these few have dented, and I've chosen my words carefully, have dented, but have not destroyed public trust and confidence in our work.
At the same ceremony, President John Mahama expressed worry about the scandal that has recently called the Ghanaian justice delivery system into question. He was hopeful that the new court complex would signal the need for a new, honest judiciary.
The Anas petition presents us for the first time with accusations against specific persons and accompanying evidence to back his claim. The Anas video has provoked all kinds of salacious conversations and discussions, both in private and the media, and our judges, regrettably, have become the butt of jokes in chop bars and restaurants. But ladies and gentlemen, this malaise affects all segments of our society. The executive, the legislature, the media, the clergy, traditional rulers, educational institutions, health facilities, and indeed the list is endless. I'm proud of the response of Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, and the Judicial Council. The promptness of response and action taken indicates that our systems are working. The Judicial Council, the Chief Justice, and my office have acted swiftly to protect the institution of justice. The referral by the Chief Justice of the petition to my office and the prompt approval for investigations to be conducted into the conduct of the judges cited in the petition gives me great confidence that our constitutional system is working.
All right, so that is President John Mahama early this morning commissioning that particular building. So how exactly is this new edifice likely to enhance justice delivery in that country? Well, joining me in the studio now is a private legal practitioner, Kujuga Adawodu. Well, we'll have a little conversation about this particular building and whether or not it adds anything to justice delivery here in Ghana. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just start off with the discussion. Now we have a very beautiful, modern, complex building. Is it going to add anything at all to our justice delivery system?
I'm an optimist believer that with the new environment, with the new court complex, it marks a new beginning for the judiciary. I would also say that it has come at an opportune time, that at a time when there had been a blot or a dent on the judiciary, this has also come, or the judiciary has been at its lowest ebb with this scandal. It also marks a new beginning, that after introspection, after new environment has been given to us, there will be an honest judiciary and honest engagement.
Is it that automatic? It doesn't sound automatic to me. I mean, The fact that you have a new building doesn't mean you change automatically.
It comes with if you study something called organizational culture, you have new things. Okay. You always sit down and strategically look at things. You have a new building, you have new equipment, you have new orientation. And this comes at the heel of something that had happened.
Right.
And everybody says that this should never happen again.
So for you, it's a timely intervention.
For me, it's a timely intervention that this had come. We are moving into a new environment, and that new environment also calls for new attitude.
All right.
And I believe that the Chief Justice and the President has said it, that look, we need to see an honest judiciary, which they have promised. And I believe that all the actors, the stakeholders in this would also make the conscious effort to achieve that.
So you tend to side with what the President and the Chief Justice said, or looking at it in a general sense, what do you make of what they said?
I believe what they said was for the judiciary, for us to have that confidence, in as much as we are down in our weakness, we should find strength. And once we find the strength, is an opportunity that we have as at now to clean the slates and go and move ahead with what we would do.
The Chief Justice speaks about, trying to talk to the people who come to you seeking justice, that we should, resist the temptation to bribe you. But does it work that way?
Yeah, it works. It works. It is an ethical issue. I said ethical issue in the sense that litigants, when you are a litigator or you go to court every time, people come and whilst you pursue the case, they come and say, lawyer, let's see the judge. Let's see the judge.
How many times do you, for instance, on a daily basis, do you come across such incidences where somebody else says, let's see the judge?
In my short span of practice, I've had a lot.
A lot. Quantify it for me.
A lot. I have a lot.
If you take on a scale of 1 over 10, or on a scale of 10, where would you put it?
I'll put it at 7.
Wow.
I'll put it at 7. Because when they come and I look at the case, and I always tell them, on this basis, we would definitely have victory.
But
on this basis, we may not have victory.
Right.
What I can do for you is to mitigate the damages. So our strategy will be that, looking at all this, the odd is against us. So if you owe somebody, let's say, 100 cedis, what I can do with looking at the law is to mitigate. So if you can pay 50 cedis instead of the 100 cedis, for me, it's a victory for us.
But they still insist that, let's go and see the
they
judge.
always think that you should go. And what I do...
And have you ever succumbed? I mean, of course.
Oh, no. What I do is that either I disengage the client, I don't work for you again. Because it will be in your mind, even when we win, you would think that because we had gone to see the judge.
Let's not take our conversation so far away. Let's come back to our building, our very new building. Have you been in this new building?
Yeah, I've been in the new building.
What do you make of it? It's good?
It's a very nice building, and it has been built to specification. At least when you look at it,
what's so special about it? And what's so different about it that we didn't have in our previous courts?
I think we have the equipment. We have a reception where when the people come, they can wait. Now we have even conference rooms that you can have. We have restaurants in it. And before...
And you have a prison as well?
Yeah, we have a prison.
Is that something that was in the old one?
No, it wasn't. So
what's the rationale?
No, with this one, there is a lift that brings them from the basement right into the courtroom. So from the courtroom, you get into the lift and it takes you back to the cells.
Right.
Right.
Interesting. For you, that's fantastic.
It's fantastic. And if you look at even the provision for the IT, we have a conference room which takes about 300 people. So we can have our own conferences. It's an auditorium, very nice, where the ceremony was held this morning.
Right.
And if you look at it, let me congratulate Tony Asare. He is the architect and consultant. He's a Ghanaian.
Okay.
He's a Ghanaian who actually did this. I think he did a marvelous job, and we should always believe in our professional. You know, this is a Ghanaian who has come up with this dream, and today we have seen this dream.
Right. Let's talk briefly also about the 15 appeal court judges who we understand that some of the judges who have been asked to go on suspension. There's some arrangement to have some other judges sitting for them. How good is this arrangement? Is it a very good one?
No, by let me say by law or by the operation of the law, the Chief Justice can appoint even a Supreme Court judge, a Court of Appeal judge, any judge to sit in any other court.
Okay.
That is from the top to the down. It is not maybe from the down to the top, so that where you have a magistrate, he can go to Supreme Court. He's been given, the Chief Justice is given that power. So that's why normally you hear that this is a Court of Appeal judge sitting as an additional High Court judge or additional Circuit Court judge.
So that's cool.
Yeah, so that is
my
cool.
final question to you, because we have to wrap up this conversation quickly, is that we understand that the commissioning of this particular building led to suspension of some hearings. Did that affect you? Did it affect justice delivery today, would you say?
Oh, it affected the workings of the court for at least this 1 week.
But it's something we can work around, right?
Oh, yeah, it's something we can work around. It's just that it has to postpone, or new dates will be given for litigants and that. So people be rest assured that from next week, I believe the earnest work will start. And we'll see new beginning, new things will happen. And I believe that everybody who goes there will be satisfied with the system.
You sound satisfied. You sound fantastically satisfied. And so if you are, I believe that most people will.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you very much for coming through. I've been speaking with Kojoga Adawudu. He is a private legal practitioner helping us to appreciate this new edifice that we have for justice delivery, whether or not it will help. You're still here with me on Joy News Prime. We'll take a very quick break. Etonam says standing by with business news. All right, Etonam Say is here with business. Etonam, you're welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a while since I heard you, the business desk, talk about the CD. Is it doing any better now?
Well, it's a bit stable. It's trading at 3-4 now for those who want to buy. But with the coming in of the Eurobond, which will hit the Bank of Ghana account soon, we hope it will further go down.
All right, let's hear what we have in business right now.
All right, now the Finance Ministry has indicated it had to reduce the amount of money raised from the Eurobond because it would have been expensive to take everything. Ghana has secured a $1 billion Eurobond in spite of an earlier announcement of a $1.5 billion.
We have parliamentary approval to raise up to $1.5 billion. At the pricing that we just discussed, we thought that it was prudent to take only $1 billion in order to take out expensive domestic debt, because you and I know what the rates are on borrowing locally. So we only took the amount that we needed to take out domestic debt. The rest would do other things external. So we'll wait for the market to get better before we're able to do it, if we want to do it. But we have approval of up to $1.5 billion. Are helping us. This year alone, we've seen an inflow of over $200 million. Our credibility has gone up as a nation. The way we manage, our public financial management reforms have helped a lot. And now the international market is interested in putting money into this country. Well, it's an inflow of foreign currency. That, together with the Cocoa Board financing, will bring in a large amount of money, to bring in over $2 billion. And that in itself should help to stabilize the city. It's just that I realize that in Ghana we do consume a lot of foreign exchange, but as we continue to push our export-led growth strategy, hopefully that should stabilize, and then we should have a stable foreign exchange rate as well.
Thank you. Now, the African Youth Agripreneurship Program, AYAP, is being implemented in Ghana to create and empower entrepreneurs in the agribusiness sector. The program will also give the youth in the agri-sector the right technical and business skills to start and grow their businesses in the agricultural value chain.
The African Youth Agripreneurship Program, AYAP, is a technical and business skills development program focusing on youth operating businesses in the agricultural value chains. 60 startups and growth businesses in Ghana have to receive various forms of support from AYAP.
The 60 entrepreneurs that we are supporting, we have a target to create additional jobs to the tune of 120. So if we are able to sustain these jobs, and if we are able to make a good impact, a good case for the pilot phase, I'm sure the sky will be the limit, because here in Ghana, ag is a very good sector to invest in, but we need to get the right people at the right time and provide them with the right information.
The challenge remains innovative packaging of local agri products.
With our experience, we believe that packaging and presentation has been the key for our success. So as much as TechnoServe is promoting such services to the youth or to young people who are into agro-processing, there is a bigger opportunity for them to see that Africa today consumes about 60 to 90 billion quantity of import of food. So if we are creating an import substitution, this will create a bigger market for all of us.
IAP is meanwhile being implemented in other 3 African countries, Kenya, Mozambique and South Africa.
Now, chief executives of the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Regulatory Authority have been talking about plans for a power market for the sub-region. Today, documents to facilitate the planned regional markets were presented by the authority to the West African Power Pool. This market is expected to attract investments and address challenges in the energy sector across West Africa. The market is expected to take off in 2016. Economist Alhaji Basiru Jaim is a council member of the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Regulatory Authority.
Let's say Ghana exports to 5 other countries. So that's the market for a particular product that Ghana produces. So likewise, okay, in electricity, maybe it is harder to imagine electricity being traded amongst countries because of the nature of the electricity sector. But that's what it is. You know, you have 15 countries having one common market for electricity. And what that means is if Ghana has surplus, it can sell to neighboring countries. But what we are trying to do is to have that for all the countries, you know, to have one common market. That's why, as a regulator, as a regional regulator, we're putting in place the frameworks for that. An example is the transmission tariff methodology that we have already put in place, and we're in the process of implementing that. What that does is, if Ghana is supplying power to a country, let's say in Mali, which is quite far, I think there are about 2 countries in between, that electricity being transmitted goes through 2 countries before it reaches Mali. It uses other networks in Togo and Burkina Faso, those neighboring countries. So those countries have to be compensated because that power is not meant for their national markets. It goes to Mali. That's what we're trying to do, to make sure that we facilitate transactions so that power can be sold from one country to another. And at the same time, putting in place these rules serves as a signal to investors so that when they come in, it becomes very easy for them to locate in one country and export power to other countries.
Now to our headline story, Trade Minister Osei Barima is asking Cabinet to consider introducing policies that will sanction businesses that go in for products that can be made locally. Mr. Barima was speaking after he paid a visit to some local businesses in the capital, and he maintains the Made in Ghana campaign can succeed if the right measures are out in place to ensure local products are purchased.
Bottom line, of course, is that all of us must continue to support products and services that are made in Ghana. And these cards and pharmaceutical products here, we hope through a government policy that will be going to the Cabinet very soon, will allow the government, for example, to decide that for certain category of pharmaceutical products, it will only buy them from Ghanaian pharmaceutical companies. It will allow the pharmaceutical companies like this one, which has certain production lines that are only producing at 30 or 40% capacity, to be able to jump up their production capacity to 80 or 90%. It will also allow companies such as Tobinco to not only satisfy the Ghanaian market, but also to export to the neighboring countries. The good news for Ghana is that Ghana has a fantastically high reputation in West Africa and Africa as a whole for good quality products, especially products that are not counterfeited. And therefore, when a pharmaceutical product arrives in a francophone country in West Africa, in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, it is highly regarded, almost as good as pharmaceutical product from Europe. And this is the one reason why we want Ghana to become the manufacturing capital for pharmaceutical products in West Africa. And we are encouraging the 40 or so pharmaceutical companies in Ghana to take further steps to expand their production, to penetrate the markets, but the government must help them to prevent certain other products from outside the country from dominating certain markets. The government must take decisions very soon to insist that for especially government hospitals and other public health institutions, that those institutions buy mostly goods, pharmaceutical products that are made in Ghana. And I'm sure my colleague, the Minister of Health, will be happy to pursue that agenda.
Now, MTN now has 15 million subscribers from a starting subscriber base of 2.5 million. Ghanaians on the MTN network hit the 15 million figure earlier this year. The company says investments into the network and other resources helped to achieve this feat.
MTN Ghana's launched celebrations into the 15th million subscriber milestone from 2.5 million in 2006 to 12 million in 2013. The company is growing in subscription, hitting 15 million this year. For MTN, the growth demands a sustained investment in the network.
Investment aside, it requires committed management and staff who believe and are obsessed with the customer experience agenda. It requires leadership that is not focused only on the transactional side of business, but also in the power of social inclusiveness. That is what telecommunication in Ghana and the rest of Africa is all about.
CEO of MTN Ghana, Ebenezer Chumasanti, assures clients they are building the infrastructure to accommodate more subscribers.
Indeed, we have enough headroom, and this is a signal to my customers. We have not attained 15 million subscribers and about to invest in the next 5 million subscribers. Even as we speak today, we have enough headroom invested to be able to accommodate the next 5 million subscribers with ease.
MTN Ghana, as part of the celebrations, is also embarking on a campaign to say thank you to all the stakeholders and customers for making MTN Ghana's network choice.
And that's it for business. My name is Eton Amsi.
Business News.
Welcome back. Let's continue the news from here. And there's only one company in Ghana that can produce antiretroviral drugs. The Adams Pharmaceuticals, however, cannot sell to much of the international market because it lacks an important piece of certification from the World Health Organization. Matilda Womega has more.
Chief Executive of the Adams Pharmaceutical Limited, Dr. Yao Edujemfi, says, though the company has the capacity to produce to meet the local and international demand, it is unable to compete for government tenders for antiretroviral drugs because it is yet to receive WHO certification. Dan Adams has been commended highly for its innovation, but because it does not meet World Health Organization pre-qualification standards, it cannot compete for government tenders for antiretroviral drugs. Despite producing 7 licensed antiretrovirals, it currently supplies less than 20% of the local market. Interestingly, government relies on the company's antiretroviral drugs to fill in the gaps whenever there is a shortage of the drug in the country. Chief Executive Dr. Yao Edujemfi says they urgently need government support to secure the 6 million EDF loan facility to upgrade its facilities.
Immediately, we need the complementary money to support EDF, money to complete the project funding, which is $6 million from the government to help us to complete our facility. So the training, the WHO has been involved with us in training our staff on day-to-day basis, on monthly basis. They've been working with us along with it. In terms of the facility, the architectural drawing, everything was done by the WHO consultants with us. What we need is now having the money to finish the civil and the actual machines and install them, and we start the processes. The government should set aside a budget for drug procurement, that every year I'm going to use 10 million cedis to buy drugs. With that, 5 million will be for HIV drugs. Since we are the only manufacturer now, at least when you know that you have a budget 5 million cedis coming to every year, you plan towards that.
A member of Parliament's Health Committee, Collins Inti, says negotiations are ongoing to help the company secure the WHO certification it so badly needs.
Last year we're here, and one of the topical issues has to do with the WHO pre-qualification. We're so thrilled, and because of that, we made several meetings with the Ministry of Health as to what extent they can work as government, as a ministry, to be able to support Danny Adams to get WHO pre-qualification. We were made to understand that the issue has to do with the structural transformation apart from the technical issues and all. Through the budget, made that assurance that he was going to ensure that 30% of the country's requirements are bought locally. And from the report we are getting, not even a 1% has been bought, which is not encouraging. But the assurance is that as a committee, we have come here, we have listened to him, we've listened to what is happening, and then we are also going to make sure that at the end of the day, we put the necessary lobbyings and the pressure where we needed to, so that we have Danny Adams be on his feet to be able to get the WHO qualification.
Hopefully they get to be certified. Now, today is World Egg Day. It is a day set aside to raise awareness about the benefits of egg. In the last few months, however, many poultry farmers in the country have lost thousands of birds to the bird flu outbreak. Poultry farmer Kenneth Quarte is joining me in the studio to share some of the challenges that confront those who produce eggs for your dining table. You're welcome, Kenneth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. But is there anything exciting about this day for you as a poultry farmer at all?
Yes, you know that eggs as a food has been through various stages where in some areas it has been condemned as dangerous to health. This has been debunked by most of the international associations.
Well, so they say.
Yes, and I think it is clear the nutritionists, not just the medical experts, have pointed out that you cannot find a more balanced diet than in an egg. And I'm sure as we go along, people will become more aware that egg has a very, very important role to play in raising.
So does it make the day significant? Is it a day? I mean, first of all, how did you spend your day? Today being Egg Day?
Well, I've done a few radio shows already, and then there was a float, and then we were at the Children's Park where we continued to make people aware of the benefits of consumption of eggs.
How was the response like for you? Getting on the street and telling people that, listen, let's eat egg.
It's very favorable. Most of the time is spent debunking some of these false notions about eggs, but also there are people who testify to the great role eggs play, both in their nutrient improvement, but also in the cost aspect of providing balanced diets to their
So egg is cheaper?
It's cheaper
Way
and
cheaper?
it's more balanced.
Right. Let's talk about the bird flu. I mean, I have an uncle who would not eat egg because he heard about bird flu. And he thinks that, well, in Ghana, we don't, take good care of poultry. And so he never ate egg. How much of an effect did the bird flu have on your business and on the business of your other colleagues as well?
Well, first of all, it's important that people know that we've had bird flu outbreaks in even the more advanced countries like America.
Yeah, well, the argument is that they are able to contain it, but we were not, or people don't seem to have the faith in our system.
When you say we aren't able to contain it, we had an outbreak in 2007. I believe within 4 or 5 weeks it had been contained.
Okay.
This outbreak, I believe we haven't heard of any further outbreaks in the last 40 days or so. So we do contain it. It may take us a little longer because of our resources, but disease is a constant challenge in any life-living thing. The important thing is we're able to bring it under control.
Tell me about the effect it had on your work.
Well, aside from the farmers who have to have their birds destroyed, not only because maybe their birds are infected, but maybe they are within what we call the kill zone, which is a zone around the disease, where we kill all the birds to basically contain it and make sure it doesn't spread out. The financial impact is quite debilitating to them, but it also affects us because, unfortunately, people like maybe your uncle.
My uncle are not eating it.
Who I think if we get a chance, we can educate him a bit as to why he doesn't need to panic in these circumstances.
In that case, is it fair to say that you're satisfied with the measures that have been put in place to, contain the outbreak? You are. Sounds like you are.
I understand the challenges, but I thought personally that considering what we achieved in the first round of this disease, we could have done a little better in this particular round.
All right, let's talk finally about the challenges, the key challenges that you face as poultry farmers here in Ghana. We're wrapping up the conversation though, so we'll have to make it quite brief. Is it good business to do in Ghana?
I hesitate to say that because, quite frankly, the challenges we face are the same we've been facing for the last 20, 30 years.
So that's like a broken record. We keep, recycling.
We keep promises that are not delivered.
Just keeps going back and forth.
Just keeps going back and forth. I think you've got the gist.
That's very sad, but well, hopefully things get better. Thank you very much, Kenneth, for coming through. Kenneth Quarter is a poultry farmer, and we're talking about Egg Day. He's saying that, well, the argument that eggs are unhealthy have been debunked. So, well, go ahead and eat all the eggs that you want to eat. Thank you very much, Kenneth, for passing through. Up next is international news. Please stay tuned. All right, so I've been having a little chit-chat with Efuakwa Harrison, who has just joined me in the studio. She has all that you want to know on social media.
Yes.
Efua, I'm really, am I nervous? No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
But
you're never nervous, Gifty.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Never, ever.
Come on. I mean, I'm new to this 2-hour kind of thing, so I'm...
But it's not something you haven't done before. So stop being so modest, okay? Stop being so modest.
Are you being a lawyer?
Let me tell you what is coming up.
Tell me.
On Joy News Interactive tonight, okay? It's all about #Accra flood. So last night's downpour, as well as today's, kind of gave people a near deja vu experience of June 3. But can you blame them? Also, photograph of the president and another celebrity seems to have generated a lot of critiques. The interactive segment is brought to you by Airtel. My name is Efuakwa Harrison. Join me within the hour for more. Back to you, Gifty.
All right, so we'll be taking a very quick break, but when we come back, we'll give you we'll give you a summary, actually, of the headlines. Didn't I say that I'm new to this 2-hour thing? All right, please stay with us. You're still watching your most authoritative news source, Joy News Prime. A recap of the top stories so far. A 2-hour downpour in Accra submerges several parts of the national capital in water, despite assurances from city authority to act decisively to end the city's perennial flooding. And amongst the corruption scandal, there are high hopes for justice delivery as an ultra-modern complex housing about 40 courtrooms is commissioned here in Accra. The NDC has rounded up its vetting of parliamentary candidates in the Greater Accra and Volta regions. We'll tell you about the disqualifications. And in business, Trade Minister Asare Osei Barima is asking cabinets to consider introducing policies that would sanction businesses that import products that can be manufactured locally. All right, let's move on to some other stories. Now, a young girl who was made to carry hot coals at the Samaria prayer camp in Achiase has gone missing together with her brother. Account by the girl and her brother suggests that they were going through an exorcism. The man who filmed the incident, Solomon Jesse, says his follow-up visit to the prayer camp, he was told that the children had run away.
Do they bring the fire into the church?
Yes, they do.
So you actually carry the fire till it dies?
Yes.
What is the fire placed in?
They put it in an earthenware bowl together with some herbs.
And do you complain when you are being burnt?
Yes, but they are not bothered.
Is your father aware of this?
No, he's not.
What's your name? Yao. So at what time do they make you carry the fire? In the evenings and every morning. And why do they make you carry the fire? My grandmother says she has bewitched us.
Reported to one tradesman he told me that I have to go to our district police commander. Call to our district CID officer.
Right.
The name is Sami. So Sami just told me to discuss with commander. So I just do that. The commander said that in cases like this, he prefers to invite the DNI so that they can investigate the story and take over from there, because they are not direct engaged that case. So they have to refer to the DNI so that they can use the intelligence investigator just find out. A week after, I just wanted to check whether they are still there or not. So I found out the children ran away from the prayer camp. So they sent their mother to go and look for them and bring them back. But the mother too haven't yet returned yet.
That's a rather sad one. While afforestation works are underway to turn the Etiwa Rainforest Reserve in the eastern region into a national park. The project is also expected to help end illegal logging in that forest. Here's a report by Haruna Yusuf Wimpini.
The decision by the authorities to turn the Etiwa Forest Reserve into a national park follows increasing activities of illegal logging and mining, which continue to deplete the forest daily. The move is equally aimed at turning the forest reserve into a park for recreation and tourism. The Etiwa Rainforest Reserve project is expected to create jobs for the teeming youth in communities around the forest areas. Deputy Eastern Region Manager of the Forestry Commission, Bernard Tebil, is optimistic the project will create diverse employment opportunities.
Right from there, we will hand over to the Forest Service Division, the Wildlife Division, which are purely in charge of the division, the section which is in charge of tourism, ecotourism, which is the Wildlife Division, and they will spearhead everything.
Densu Basin Programs Coordinator Roland Abrahams says the project will protect the genetic resources in the forest, which will enhance research and also sustain the forest.
Now, tensions are growing between the mining firm Perseus and residents of Anyamfuri in the central region. Managers of the company insist that illegal miners from the town have invaded its concessions, a situation that raises safety concerns. General Manager of Perseus, Edor Ayote Akwa, told a news conference that despite several warnings, the number of illegal miners keep multiplying on the company's concession.
We realized that illegal miners had invaded certain parts of our concession, an area within the concession which is referred to as a heap leach. They basically went down there and started mining and processing materials that is within the concession of Pesos Mining Ghana Limited. So these are things which are verifiable. This is what the law states, and these are facts. And their numbers, and they are carrying out mining of the area. And if you go there now, currently it is estimated that probably up to about 1,000. These are not professional miners. They are people who use crude methods of mining, and they do not care about the safety of themselves and then the safety of others who actually work with them in those areas. When it comes to Galamsey pits, as it's popularly called, caving in and falling on to people. It's something that abounds in this country. And we, from time to time, hear stories of pits having collapsed on people. And for that matter, burying them alive and certain fatalities occurring. So these are people who are using very crude methods to mine and exposing themselves and others to risk.
Well, Richard Kodonyako was at the news conference and joins us now on the telephone lines. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Gifty.
What stops the company from driving out these illegal miners from their concession?
Well, they fear the consequences. You know, these are angry youths that are from Ayamfuri. They complain of no jobs. They say that their lands have been taken over by this mining firm. And so they fear the repercussion of what will happen. And so in August, when a similar incident happened and they complained, the police came in to ensure sanity prevails. But things have not gone. Their anger now stems from the fact that day in and day out, the numbers of the people who go to the mining concession keeps increasing. And so that is what their worry is about. And that is why they are unable to do that. And they are sounding this note of caution.
What do the illegal miners themselves say about the warnings that the company claims to have given them?
For them, so many promises have come to them. When the mining firm was coming to that place, they promised them that they will give them jobs. They will give them adequate compensation when they cut down their trees and their other plantations that they have. But for some time now, that has not been happening. They cut down their cocoa trees and other things, but the compensation that comes does not... It's not anything to go by. Apart from that one, there are no jobs in the town. The only resource that they have been taken over by this mining firm. And so that is why they say that they have nowhere to go, absolutely nowhere to go. And so that is why they have invaded that place. And according to the mining firm, that concession was granted them by the Minerals Commission. And so for these people to invade them, they pay taxes and all of that. So they want authorities to step in to avoid any untoward action or risk that might happen between the youth of the mining community and the mining company itself.
Thank you very much. Richard Kodonyako is one of our correspondents in the central region, telling us about that particular problem brewing there. Well, we'll take a very quick break. Up next is entertainment, and Miss G standing by. All right, so I think it's one of the simplest names that I've ever heard. Miss G. It's so simple. She's already here in the studio. Miss G, how are you?
I'm very well. You know, you could also be Miss G, like Miss Gifty.
Yeah, well, Miss G, Miss GAA. Anyway, so today we're talking about Oforian Ponsa. Sure. We have something about Black Rasta. There's something about Peace Hyde. Well, if you don't know Peace, I'm sure you know her. You know, the lady with the thing. Yeah, and there's Lydia Forcing as well. Before we go to South Africa, let's start off with Oforian Ponsa. What's up with him?
Now, you know, Oforian Ponsa says that he's going back to secular music, though he trained as a pastor, and he's saying that he's going to do secular music, all right, but this time around he's going to be preaching about love. Now, he passed through the studios of Hits FM, and then he was asked by Amanda if this time around he would perform in a nightclub, if he's invited to, because he has a new song already, which is titled Alewa with Sarkodie. Here's what Oforian Ponsa had to say.
All right.
Would you perform in a nightclub? Would you perform in a nightclub? Because your music doing is a business.
Yeah, I didn't say, you know, I am more for people say doing say outside than the people inside. Okay. You know, I will do it. Okay. I know the reason why. People don't actually know why I will do it, but I will do it.
All right, so he's having a problem, I believe.
Yeah,
fitting in the gospel frame, right?
Well, he says he's not stopping the pastoral job. He still has.
He's reaching out.
Exactly, and you see the only difference that this time around he's going to be preaching about love.
Okay.
And so I don't know what business he'll be doing in the nightclub preaching about love.
Well, you go there, you know, reach out to the people. You know, somebody is calling it identity crisis. Well, I think that maybe it will work if it goes out there, you know, to spread the word out there.
Can you imagine being in a nightclub and he comes, oh, and then John 3:16?
Not necessarily. You can do it one-on-one. Like I meet you, Miss G, and I get you in some corner in the club somewhere, you know, and I start talking to you about God.
When I'm there to party.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll
see how it works.
You know?
Yesterday I heard Black Rasta talk about his movement from Islam to Christianity. Is it real?
No,
or is it one of Black Rasta's
No,
stuff?
he hasn't moved.
He hasn't.
He says that he just has a new perception or perspective about Christianity. And you know, in time past, when he's doing his radio show, Taxi Driver, what he does is that he lashes out at prophets. And he says that, well, after taking a break from radio, he has a different perception about men of God. He now believes that they're just men being used by God. But you know, the interesting thing about what he says is that he believes in the Christ. You know, Christians believe in Christ.
Of course.
So I don't know who is the Christ. That's the different thing. He says,
is he saying anything about that?
He says that he believes that we are all sons of God.
Okay.
So he doesn't know any individual as the son of God.
We hear.
Now, but he's talking about something different. He says
Tell me about it.
He's taking a break from radio, and he thinks that ever since he took a break from radio, reggae music is in a sorry state.
Being off radio has been the best decision I've taken.
Would you ever go back to radio?
Of course. I mean, for now, it's almost like I'm having a leave. This is the second month or so. I resigned on the 6th of July, yes. So, like, yeah, second month is going to third month. Also. I mean, so for me, it's almost like a leave. And the kind of inspiration I'm getting, the kind of enjoyment, I'm getting the time to read more books, shoot more videos, sing of my songs, trying to release my new album again. And it's just been wonderful. If I have missed radio, then it's just about the fans. Saying it's about the fans who keep asking me, when are you coming on radio? It's like, since Black Rasta got off radio, reggae music has been in a sorry state.
Yeah, it's about the fans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you think reggae music has, you know, I mean, you guys are the entertainment people.
We still hear reggae music. Reggae music, sorry, but reggae music is not Black Rasta. Reggae music is reggae music. Okay. Maybe his style of play is what we miss on radio.
You do miss his style of play,
Of course,
right?
He's my colleague at Hits FM, so I miss him. The way, Black Rasta, the way you come banging the door, we miss that, you know.
Well, I don't do a lot of reggae, so I don't miss him. I can't miss him. But anyway, it's good. Let's talk about Peace Hyde.
Yes.
Okay, let me just
Peace Hyde, for a lot of them who don't know her, she's the presenter with the hourglass shape. That's what people prefer to call her. But Peace Hyde has been revealing to Ebony Life in Nigeria that when she was younger, she was a bit plump and she wasn't comfortable in her skin. So she decided to get this shape. It's people misconstruing the fact.
So she got the shape?
Oh, yeah.
She
decided to get the shape.
How did she get it?
Well, she'll be talking about it.
All right.
But you want to get this shape.
Yes, of course. I mean, not this shape, but of course, the waist is nice, but not this shape. I mean, yeah.
But I'm sure you are very much comfortable in your skin, you know.
Yeah, of course, I mean, the waist is nice. Yeah, I could do with a bit of that waist, but not this shape. You know what I mean?
All right.
What's happening with Lydia Fawcett?
you know the famous Doomsaw Must Stop campaign.
Right.
You know, Lydia Fawcett together with Yvonne Nelson spearheaded that. She didn't show up on the final day. You know that she got into a fracas with a man called Alhaji Haruna. Yes.
Was it her? Okay,
yes.
Who called her?
Who called her 31 and not married and doesn't have to comment. Well, somebody puts together an animated photo of Lydia Fawcett together with Archbishop Duncan Williams and then Haruna himself and then some two gentlemen. Let's just have a look at that. That's Lydia Fawcett. Does she look anything like her? Like in her claws, like she's going to...
The claws? No, well, the breast, maybe? The hips?
Maybe. And that's Archbishop Duncan Williams. That's Aruna with the...
Well, I'm not comfortable with the Archbishop thing, but that's a very personal bias that I have. So that's fine. But who is the next man?
The next man is who we are yet to find out. But the one after him by the bull, I don't know if it's a bull or a ram, That is the Alaji Haruna who says she's 31 plus.
Yeah, I know.
She needs to get her
guy.
husband.
I know that guy. And who's there in the corner?
Still finding it very difficult to find. Even Lydia Forson herself said, who did this to me? I don't know some of the people in the pictures, you know. But I'm sure she's happy because she posted it on her Instagram platform. So
I think she loves controversy, and so this is like this is business for her.
You've talked about controversy, but it goes to our next topic for discussion. You know, South African rapper AKA, you know, granted AKA. Some people call him Aka, but his name is actually AKA. Now, he granted an interview to News 24 in South Africa. And this gentleman proudly said to the presenter that, you know, controversy is my comfort zone. Let's hear him.
Okay.
Now, you see, saying this, he does something spectacular when he's asked about...
Spectacularly controversial.
Maybe, maybe, when he's asked about his relationship with a South African presenter called Bonan. Let's see him.
So actually, he had to, you know, be lighting a bonfire. Gary Smith is in the studio with me. Gary, what happened?
Oh, well, you know,
you're supposed to be representing your year group.
That's school stuff, high school stuff. But my friends are holding forth for me because this is also necessary. Our viewers are important.
Extremely necessary. Tell us what's in sports.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Gifty, and welcome to the sport here on the news. I'm Gary L. Smith. We do some football politics. Now, you do know that last week we had executive committee elections in the Ghana Football Association elections, and this week we've been doing those for all the 10 regions. Controversy has been quoted in the central region because somebody who has been in charge for 26 years has been beaten. His name is Martin Enesdo, very popular man in the central region, but he's been beaten by basically a newbie called Roy Arthur. And Martin Doe says that the loss was caused by the Ghana Football Association.
The whole thing was not well done because the same people who nominated me, you see, also nominated Roy Arthur. So for you, I never saw the form until this morning. Okay. I never saw the form, and I even accosted the election committee chairman that it is improper for somebody to fight in Accra when the election is conducted in Cape Coast. It's improper for somebody to go into an election not knowing the detail of documents submitted by a candidate for that election. It's not a worthy winner. It doesn't mean it should necessarily be Mr. Doe, but Roy is not qualified. If it means some other person coming, I have no problem. But we must, maintain the sanctity of our regulations.
So what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm consulting my legal team to see.
Controversy here, controversy there. Anyway, speaking of which, let's go to Kumasi now, where Asare Osei Barima, the former Bayern Munich and Black Star, has been given a shot in the arm in his quest to lead Asante Kotoko. This time is from former Black Star Reverend Osei Kofi, who believes that Kufuor is experienced enough to lead the Porcupine Warriors.
People were talking about Osei Kufuor. Is he mature to be Kotoko's president? What does he know? What has he done? One thing I want to assure some of our press, that in the olden days in Ghana here, when we come to the Black Stars, after going back home to continue our league, I was a coach at the Pokuare. My senior colleague also was a coach. So we are trained at the Black Star camp as coaches before we go back. If even in Africa we are doing this, what about in Europe? I remember I visited Anthony Yabua in Frankfurt, and they had prepared the under-20 for him if he chooses to stay in Germany. The experience, what does he get it for? It's a circle for having an experience, but the experience is not sold at Kingsway. You acquire when you are doing it. And somebody who hasn't got the experience will be able to sit in front of the whole world camera at DSTV to analyze football.
Man says experience is not sold at Kingsway. You know he's of the old school. Kingsway is now the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Anyway, let's go over to Europe and do some European qualifying fair. There have been shocks and there have been some expected results, one of which is that Cristiano Ronaldo will be at Euro 2016 because Portugal